Hello kids! Another informative chapter which tells us a lot about snakes. So as you guessed, the title is The World of Snakes. Snakes look very peculiar, but they are a fascinating part of nature. They look so out of the world because of their long, legless bodies, color, movement and secretive habits. Though commonly found around us, they are the most feared ones too. This fear is mainly associated with them due to our lack of knowledge about them. हमें जिसके बारे में ज़्यादा नहीं पता, उसी से ज़्यादा डर लगता है और शायद इसीलिए स्नेक से हर कोई डरता है. So let's get information about these snakes. Many, not all snakes are venomous. This is the reason that parents will not allow children to touch or even go near a snake. Of course, a venomous snake should certainly not be handled, but holding a harmless snake quickly dispels the fear of all snakes. So the first step is to know them. The king cobra is the largest venomous snake in the world. It grows to over 5 meters in length and is often as thick as a fat man's arm. But the non-venomous anaconda of South America grows even larger, sometimes as long as 9 meters and can swallow a deer with ease. पूरा का पूरा हिरन निगल सकते हैं एक ही बारी में. In India, the reticulated python is the giant among snakes, often growing to 7 to 8 meters. Its more common cousin, the rock python, is heftier but only grows to 6 meters. At the other extreme, the worm snake is the tiniest and is often confused with the earthworm. A snake may be bright green and long or dull brown and short. It may live in trees or deep underground or even in the ocean. It may eat rats, birds, fish or even other snakes. Large pythons have been known to overpower leopards and sambar too. बड़े बड़े से pythons हों तो वो बड़े जानवरों को भी निगल सकते हैं. Now you know that all snakes are not alike or do the same thing or eat the same things or live in the same type of place. This variety makes them interesting. An interesting fact about snake is that they never stop growing. They grow the fastest in the first 2 years of their lives. As they grow, like you children grow out of your clothes and shoes, they need new skins. When they grow, the outer thin layer of their skin becomes too tight. So they grow a new one and crawl out of the old. This is called shedding or slowing. मतलब जैसे जैसे बड़े होते हैं तो जो सबसे बाहर की पतली सी स्किन है उसको उतार देते हैं. When a snake is about to shed skin, it becomes quite dull and lazy. And after this exercise, it becomes active, bright and alert. Due to this fact, the ancient Greeks believed that snakes live forever. Snakes can store fat in their bodies, so they don't have to eat every day. Smaller snakes feed once every few days, but larger ones can go for several weeks or even months without food. They do not chew their food. They simply swallow it whole, क्योंकि इनके दांत नहीं होते. You can see a snake catch a frog or rat that seems too big for it to handle. But it can open its mouth much wider than you can imagine. Its neck stretches like a tight sock, and slowly but surely the food travels down its throat. The inward pointing teeth also help to push it down. Normally, snakes lay eggs. The female finds a safe, sheltered place for it. The eggs are white and leathery, which help the young to break through at the hatching time. Normally, snakes abandon their eggs to their fate, but some snakes stay with the eggs till they have hatched. But not all snakes lay eggs. Some give birth to the young. In their case, the eggs are incubated inside the female's body. The young snakes are as small as an earthworm or over a foot in length, depending on their species. Most of the people are in terror of snakes, so they kill them indiscriminately if anyone is seen around. But they are valuable and useful animals. One simple reason is that they eat rats. You might know that rats destroy up to half of India's food crops every year. You can only really understand the damage that rats do if you go to the fields during harvest time and see rats' burrows and holes filled to the brim with grains. Rats store this food for the dry season. So snake is an important animal to keep rats in check. But snakes are also killed for their skins and poison. Their skins are used for making things like wallets, purses, and shoes. And poison is used for making medicines. Man is the deadliest enemy of snakes. And you have heard about the plucky mongoose who has the better of snakes every time. Other enemies of snakes include the birds of prey like eagles and water birds like herons and egrets. Some lizards too kill and eat snakes. Snakes do not have keen eyesight and are often not able to recognize objects which are quite close by. When hunting for food, snakes use their sense of smell, which is sharp. Interestingly, the main organ of smell is not the nose, but the tongue. The tongue picks up particles of smell from the ground by flicking it in and out when the snake hunts. It is absurd to think that snakes can hear or respond to music. A snake only sways to a snake charmer's flute, thinking that there is a danger looming ahead in the form of a giant man with a long strange instrument in his hands and mouth. It is only keeping an eye on its movement. जब हमें लगता है ना कि वो बीन सुन के नाच रहा है, वो एक्चुअल में सिर्फ उस बीन पे नज़र रखता है कि कहीं उससे इसको कोई खतरा तो नहीं. Many people believe that snakes drink milk. A very thirsty snake may take a sip of milk, but it is certainly not a natural food for snakes. Similarly, some people think that snakes suckle milk from cows and goats. They seem to forget that snakes have extremely sharp teeth and no cow could stand for that. And now perhaps is the right time to tell you about Bill Haas, a man from Miami, Florida in US. He is known as the guru of snake men. He extracts venoms of snakes from all over the world. He handles snakes without any instruments like tongs or hooks. No one has ever been known to survive the bite of the king cobra except him. And how do you think he manages this? When he was young, he decided to immunize himself against certain snake venoms. And just as we get vaccinated against cholera and typhoid, he injected himself with bigger and bigger doses of snake venoms till his body built up immunity to them. Someone joked that he had so much venom in his blood that he better not bite anyone. Anyway, this was what saved him when bitten by the king cobra. He has had over 100 bites from venomous snakes and still living. So I hope now with so much of information about snakes, we won't just fear them, but we will remain cautious.